Hi everyone, this is Dee from Passion for Paper Beads on Etsy.com. Today I'm going to be showing you how to express base coat your finished paper beads using Mod Podge hard coat. And we're not going to be using a brush today, we're actually going to be doing it with our finger. Then I'm also going to show you how to string your beads to prepare them for dipping, followed by dipping them in the Vibrance. Here we go. In a regular glue bottle, I've filled this with Mod Podge hard coat, and this is how I base coat my beads. I basically put about a pea's size worth of the Mod Podge hard coat on top and just turn the stick and let your finger take the Mod Podge and coat the whole bead. Then you can go ahead and flip it over, and hopefully you can see what I'm doing here. It's kind of weird. I can't seem to get my thumb out of the way. There we go. And you're just going around like this. And you just want to make sure when you do this that you don't have big lines on the face side of the bead, and stick it in your bead dryer. When you're doing a tube bead, it's a little bit different, because what you want to do is you want to do the top first, and then we're going to flip it over. So I'm going to use what's left on my finger, and I'm just going to go around the top part until it looks like it's pretty well covered with the Mod Podge, and then I'm just going to pull it off and turn it over. I'm going to put some more. This time I'm just putting a little bit. Okay, that's about enough to go around, and then you just put it around, and then you can go ahead and put a little on the face, and just let your stick turn. You're putting this on pretty thick, much thicker than I think you would be if you were using a brush. So there's how you do the tube bead. And then for the cone bead, I'm putting a little on the top and just turning it around the top part. And I'm going to flip it upside down and some more Mod Podge on it, and just keep turning the stick, making sure that it looks like it's pretty evenly coated. The sticks I'm using, and I'll show them to you when we're done here, the sticks I'm using are different diameters, because your bead rollers are different diameters, so it's good to have a variety of different sticks that actually fit the holes of the different size bead rollers. And these that I have, most of them I got at Walmart, some of them I got at a local Asian store. I'll show you those too. I just like them better than the toothpicks. The bead sits on it more stable, and you can work with it like I'm doing right now. When I do the embellishing the beads, I use the same sticks, same method, not my finger, but just turning the stick as I go. So that one's base coated. Like that. So you're seeing a wide variety of different shapes of beads, and it's pretty much the same with all of them. The only one that's really different is the tube bead. And our last little one. I like to turn it over, making sure you get it right up to the stick. I've never had a problem with the beads sticking on the sticks. You just go right up to the stick and try and keep it off the stick, and you should be fine. Okay, so that's base coating. I just use a dry wash rag to wipe my fingers off. It seems to work the best as opposed to having something wet. The sticks that I'm using, this one here works the best with the red roller and the orange roller. They're 6 inches long, and they're probably just a little bit larger diameter than your average toothpick would be, and it allows the bead, like you saw, to sit right on the tip and not slide down the stick. And when I'm working with some of the other size bead rollers, I also like to have these that are different diameters, and I've even found another one that's even fatter than these. When you start working with the really large bead rollers like the purple one, you're not going to find a stick that's going to fit the hole. So what I like to do is I just take one of these sticks, and right up by the top I just tear off a piece of Scotch tape and just run it right around here, and that way when you slide the bead on, it gives it a stopping point so it'll hold it in place while you're working, and that's all you have to do, and that'll allow you to base coat and also embellish the beads without them sliding down the side of the stick. So now I'm going to show you how I string my beads and explain to you why I do it this way. Normally when I string my beads, I use just your regular clear fishing line. This is a 6-pound test. I get this at Walmart also. It's 700 yards. I think it runs around $1, and it's really strong and it'll work just fine for stringing. This is what I normally use, but so that it shows up on camera today, I'm actually going to be using a piece of wax linen, because if I was showing you what I was doing with the clear, it wouldn't show up at all. So I've got my piece of string, and I want to bring the two cut ends together, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to take and I'm going to slide one little clear seed bead, this is a size 6, onto the cord and bring it down to the end so that it's going to form a loop like this, and then I'm going to do an overhand knot, and I'm going to take this end and I'm going to take it through here. And I do this 3 times when I'm using the fishing line, because the last thing you want to happen once you start dipping your beads is to have this come undone and have your beads all dipped in Vibrance and have them come sliding off. And I've had that happen before. So this went past it. The bead itself creates a stopping point for your beads. So once the bead's on the string, they can't slide off. So we're going to put these on, and I'm also going to actually dip these for you today and show you how I go about using the Vibrance. I like to dip my beads so that they can hang straight up and down like this, and that's why I'm stringing them this way as opposed to just stringing them on a single strand and then tying it off so that it's in a big loop or circle. I prefer to have them straight up and down. That way I can rotate. One time when I dip it, I'm going to hang it from one end, and the next time I dip it, I'm going to hang it from the other end. So, almost there. Once I get all the beads on, I'm going to be adding another seed bead and tying it off to create a stopping point at the opposite end. So there we have all the beads are on there now. So I'm going to add another seed bead. Since I started dipping my beads and, well, stringing them this way and dipping them this way, I've really noticed a big difference in the amount of bubbles I get. I don't get any puddles anymore, and the beads seem like they look much shinier to me. So I think that the Vibrance is getting coated much more evenly. Okay, so you tied your overhand knot a couple times to the hole, and just give it a little tug that secures the bead. Then I want you to go up a little ways and tie another knot, and make sure that you take the ends through at least 3 times on the end so that your fishing line doesn't come apart on you, and then you're going to cut it off. Okay, so now this is your knotted end, and this is your closed loop end. Once you dip these in the Vibrance, what I want you to do the first time is I want you to hang it up by the open end that you knotted shut, because if you hang it this way the first time, the Vibrance running down the string will actually fuse the string together. If you start with this end the first time you dip it, it won't close up the loop on the bottom. So I just found that out from experience. So that's what you're going to do. And then once you dip it in the Vibrance, we're going to hang it up. And these are the little beads. I get these at Hobby Lobby. I think they come in about a 3-ounce package. And they go on sale every few weeks at 50% off, so I think it ends up costing around $2 for 3 ounces, and they last quite a long time. This is the Vibrance that Janice Mae sells in her Etsy shop. It comes in a 4-ounce bottle. She also has it in, I believe, an 8-ounce container. I keep mine in this bowl, which is just a Pyrex bowl with a snap-on lid. I'm going to go ahead and dip these, even though they're on the wax linen. I don't think it's going to hurt them at all. Okay, so basically what I do, I want to make sure that you can see this. What I do when I dip these is I put them in and immediately flip it over and one more time and pull it out. Okay, you don't want to let it soak in the Vibrance really long. If you think of a straw, the center's full of air and the bead center is just like a straw. If you shoved a straw down in the Vibrance, it would create a lot of bubbles. The same with the beads. They have air in the middle, and if you shove it down in the Vibrance too long, it just makes more bubbles and more bubbles. So you don't want to soak it, you just want to quickly dip it. I made my loop a little bit too long. Let's see if I can shorten this up a little bit. There we go. Okay. I had to make a makeshift display thing here for glazing to show you. I normally do mine in my enclosed patio outside, so it's a little strange doing it this way. What I do after I dip it is I hang it up so it would be hanging straight up and down like this, and then you start checking for any bubbles that you see. Normally the bubbles are going to form here between the beads, and with 2 beads sometimes you'll get them on the actual face of the bead. All you want to do is you can just, if there was I didn't even get any bubbles to pop. Of course not. If there's a bubble here, if you just tap it with the stick, the bubble will pop. If it's on the face of the 2 beads, say this was the face and there was a bubble, if you just take the stick right up to it and just go like this, the bubble will come off without disturbing the glazing process. And as you can see, the excess Vibrance is now starting to run down the bottom of the string and drip onto my paper towel. I don't see any bubbles on here to pop. That is your goal. If you sit it in the Vibrance too long, you absolutely are going to have more bubbles come up. And you're not going to shake this, we're not going to do anything. Just let it sit there and hang maybe for at least 5 minutes. By then the rest of it should be done dripping out the bottom, and you can check and make sure that no bubbles came up, because sometimes I'll walk away and come back and I'll see, oh, in the process of it running down through the inside of the beads, more bubbles sprout up in between. So you can also, it's kind of hard to do this because it's not really hanging up correctly. Let's see if I can pull this up and show you. You can also take your stick if you need to move it, and you can slide when it's on fishing line. You'll be able to slide them like this. So if you get a whole cluster of bubbles in between and you're having trouble getting rid of them, you can take your stick and hold this in and just push the beads out of the way and make sure that you've got the bubbles under control. I see one little puddle right here on the face of this little barrel bead, so I'm just taking it off with the side of the stick. So I get a lot of people sending me questions about the bubbles in Vibrance, the puddling, and so forth. So anyway, I just would leave mine hanging like this, straight up and down for an hour. And if you hang them this way, then the Vibrance would keep running down, and this bottom bead right here on the bottom is going to have a whole bunch of Vibrance accumulating. And if you left it unchecked when you took your bead off, you would actually have a noticeable Vibrance ledge at the bottom of the bead, and I think that's what people are referring to as puddling. So that's why I hang them straight up and down. You see right here on the face of the bead, which probably doesn't show up on the camera, but I can see it. There's like a spot right here where there's just too much Vibrance. So I'm just taking the stick and just gently taking a little bit off. And then the next time you dip it, you're going to do the same thing. You're going to dip it quickly, flip it over, flip it one more time, but the next time you're going to hang it by the closed loop end, and that way that ensures that all of your beads have gotten the equal amount of vibrance. They look very, very smooth, very polished, and also the inside of the bead is going to be fully coated on the inside because now it's run down through all the beads both times. So that is my base coating, stringing, and vibrance, and that's what I have for you today. If you have any questions, feel free to contact me in my Etsy shop, or you also can message me on my Facebook page. Thank you for watching.